Hi everyone, we were asked to put some idioms up in some videos because one of the major reasons is idioms are used a lot in English movies, music, conversation, and you will not learn these idioms in a classroom. Most likely because a non-native English speaking teacher probably doesn't know these idioms or how to use them. So, what we're going to do here at Blue Hill is we're going to make a few videos here for some very common English idioms that are used in conversation. Our first one is, the idiom obviously is in yellow, okay? So, do you think a picture is worth 1,000 words? So the idiom kind of speaks for itself because you can use 1,000 words to explain something. Or let's say if I said, what does your friend look like? You can use 1,000 words. She's tall, she has nice eyes, she has brown eyes, she has long black hair, but many words. Or just show me a picture. So the picture equals all of these words you're using to try and tell me what she looks like. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay? Same as, and that goes for anything, a car, anything, a house. Show me a picture, now I know. You don't need any words. Next one is, do you judge a book by its cover? So it's the same. If you're in the library and you see a book, you look at the cover and you think, oh, this book is probably boring. Well, you're judging the book here only by the cover of the book. Because if you open the book, ooh, maybe the book is actually interesting. But it's also really talking about a person. You see a person and you think, you look at the person because that's your initial impression, and you think that person's probably not interesting, probably boring. Well, you're judging that person you're making a decision about that person only from the way they look. And you don't know what, maybe they look that way because they just finished work or they were doing something else. Next one is, do you know someone who has to learn the hard way? Learn the hard way means they're going to do something and you're telling them that's not a good idea. For example, let's see, a good example would be a young girl and her boyfriend, and she likes this guy for a boyfriend, but you know the boy is not a good boy. You know he's going to break her heart. So you try many ways to try to tell her that's a bad idea, that's a bad idea, that's a bad idea, but she doesn't listen. So she has to learn the hard way. Means she will have to actually date him until he breaks up with her or he does something that makes her angry. Now she's learning the hard way. It means she has to do something to know it was not a good idea. She won't listen to people. Next one, do you know someone with a one-track mind? I'm sure we all know people with a one-track mind. One-track mind means they're only thinking about one thing. You could be talking about the Olympics, and then if they have a one-track mind, they will maybe make one small comment about the Olympics, and then they'll start talking about themselves, or they'll start talking about food. You say, wow, every conversation they talk about almost the same thing over and over again. Why do some bachelors get cold feet? Now, if you know what a bachelor is, a single man. Why do they get cold feet? Usually before the wedding. Getting cold feet means you're scared, nervous. So why do bachelors get cold feet? Some do, some don't. I didn't get cold feet, but some bachelors do. Maybe because they realize, wow, their life is really going to change. It's not my TV anymore, I have to share. It's not my stereo, I have to share. Or I have to turn my music down because my wife is watching TV or listening to music. Or when you're a bachelor, you can go home anytime. 2 a.m., 7 a.m., or maybe don't go home. But you start thinking, the bachelor starts to think, oh, now I have to go home at a decent hour. And you can't, it's not a good idea to go out partying with friends and then go home when the sun comes up. Your wife probably will not like that. So starting to think about how your life will change, some bachelors get nervous and scared. They get cold feet. Do you mind being the third wheel? I do. I do not like being the third wheel. That is not fun to me. The third wheel, that's really easy. Think of a real bicycle. A bicycle has 2 wheels. You need 2 wheels to ride the bicycle. Well, the third wheel would be a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Those two, your friend is going out with his girlfriend, and then you go. So it's 3 of you. Now, if a boyfriend and girlfriend are going out, they don't really need you, and that because usually if it's a boyfriend and a girlfriend, if you're going out, let's say to a restaurant, the boyfriend and girlfriend, they'll be maybe telling their little private jokes, and one will be feeding the other, they'll be holding hands, and you'll just be sitting there thinking, I really, really don't want to see this, which means you are the third wheel. That couple does not need you there, because you don't know maybe what they're talking about. They may be talking about a date. So do you mind being the third wheel? I do. I do not want to go out with a friend and his girlfriend. I don't want to go. I say, no, I do not want to be the third wheel. Have you ever been in the middle of nowhere? The middle of nowhere, there's places like this everywhere in the world. The middle of nowhere means you really can't give directions or tell somebody where you are. Especially like in the forest. If you get lost in the forest, well, what are you going to say? I'm standing next to a big tree and a rock. You're in the middle of nowhere. And when you're driving a lot of times through the countryside, you'll notice there are not many buildings out there or houses or no type of landmarks. So if something were to happen, how would you explain where you are? I'm near a field and a few bushes. You are in the middle of nowhere. Last one. Does money talk? I say it does, because if you ask me to do something, I don't want to do it, of course, I'm going to say no. But if you said, hey, here's some money, now will you do it? Okay, now the money's talking. If it's enough money, I might say yes. A good one for money talk is when you're all sitting in the house and talking and hanging out, and somebody wants something from the store. And sometimes you don't want to go. And so you ask somebody, hey, will you go to the store? He says, well, okay, if I give you $20, I just want these 3 things, you keep the rest of the money. You keep the change. Your money is talking. Means when people see the money, most likely there's a good chance they're going to say yes to whatever you asked. Okay? Well, I hope now if you look at this video a few more times, you'll start to learn and remember some of these idioms, if not all of them. And also how to use them and when to use them. Okay? All right. Well, we'll put maybe a few more videos of idioms up, and hopefully they help you, because you will most likely hear these idioms used in conversation, music, and movies. All right? Well, I'll see you later.